note on what the labor code will likely have in terms of impact on companies like a Swiggy and a Zomato, or Eternal as they call it now. And of course, you'll also have an urban company, which I understand, Jignanshu, you don't cover. But good morning, Jignanshu. Thanks for joining us at short notice. You've written that note. You've suggested that there will be around 25 to 60 basis point impact on food delivery. There'll probably be another 60 basis point impact on quick commerce. Give us the underlying for that thesis. And so that's first part. Second part, what do these companies already do? So incrementally, do you believe that this is negative? Just give us a sense of that.
Sure. Thank you for having me, Harsh. It's always a pleasure. So yes, I don't cover urban company, but talking from Eternal and Swiggy's perspective, they hire gig workers to run their delivery, the last mile delivery. But on the quick commerce side, also the dark stores and the warehouses. Across these, on food delivery, like you said, we think the impact is a range of 25 to 60 bips. This range impact assessment assumes a certain share of the rules, right? So there is one rule which says either it's 1 or 2% of turnover, and 1 and 2% themselves is a large range, but also up to 5% of the payout to the gig workers. So that's how we calculate, and we've given the unit economics in the note. So we think there is around 55 to 60 rupees of cost per delivery on the food delivery side, which is incurred, and that translates to around 25 to 60 basis points of impact. I think for both of these, to answer your second question, for both food delivery and quick commerce, there is a significant, these laws were known, right? The companies knew that the codes were coming. The government, both central and state, have been talking about a social security net for the gig workers. In preparation for that, the companies already provide health benefits, accidental benefits, maternity benefits, and so on and so forth. Our estimate is that around half of what we say is the mathematical impact is incremental. And even out of that half, the companies will be able to mitigate, because there are other ecosystem participants, like the customer can bear probably 50 bips, maybe the restaurants can bear, and so on and so forth. So over some time, I think the companies do have the ecosystem power to diffuse the extra costs that they would get, especially more easy on food delivery. On quick commerce, because the losses are already quite high, and it's going through its own evolution, I think it's too early to say whether a 1 or 2 rupee extra cost per delivery is something which the companies cannot absorb. Because for quick commerce, anyways, we are looking at an F28, F29 profitability metric. So that sort of gives them the time to rejig their models to reduce the overall impact.
Jignanshu, if you look at how this is going to play out, do you think that the platform companies will be able to pass on the entire cost to the customers, given the fact that it's going to be 1 to 1.5 rupees per delivery?
So I don't think they will pass it immediately, because there is a price elasticity, and this will probably be easier on food delivery side, because you don't need to pass it all to the customer. You can also tinker around with the commission rate and take rates from the restaurants. So I think in food delivery side, it's easy to see that, because the competition is also more benign. On the quick commerce side, we expect it to be more difficult, given you are competing, you are in a very high competitive intensity phase today. So there, and plus there's no restaurant counterparty whom you can pass on some of these costs to. So between food delivery and QC, we see greater shorter term impact for QC, whereas for food delivery, it should be much lower.
And what could still an outperform Jignanshu on both Eternal as well as Swiggy?
Yeah, because I don't think it changes the thesis for why you would buy these stocks today from a medium to a long-term perspective. That is more fundamental about changing customer behavior, about the value that they provide to customers, their ability to make money. And I think the range of estimates today on sell side or on buy side is already very large for these 1 rupee or 2 rupee to be a rounding of error. on there. So I think there's a lot to be you don't buy them for this. Though regulatory overheads or regulatory concerns will remain a risk, you need to keep evaluating them. But structurally remain outperform because I don't think it changes the narrative.
Do you have a clarity on what constitutes a revenue? Is it going to be the GMV or is it going to be net order value for these companies?
We don't right now. So we assume that it will be revenue as it on the books because GOV or NOV, if it is GOV or NOV, then the ceiling will be on the 5% payout to commission to workers. So that is already factored into our model, right? And that payout will be then capped at 3 rupees, which is roughly 5% of the 50 to 60 rupees cost that they incur.
Jignanshu, you look at QSR as well, right? And wanting to set that context, taking a step back, some of these companies have done nothing, and Jubilant's numbers were strong this time around. Do you believe that there's going to be a bit of a catch-up, likely, or there is a possibility of a catch-up, in your opinion, with regard to the way in which some of these companies are, in terms of returns, are going to play out over the next year or so?
See, I think the reason why the QSR stocks haven't done well is they have really underperformed the industry on growth. But also the commentary from most management has been bearish on the demand trends in the immediate term. So until we think that discretionary demand sort of growth happens, which we don't necessarily see in the high frequency data, let's say even for festive season, it is going to be tough, right? We do believe that Jubilant remains the best performing QSR name. Hence their ability to give investor returns will depend on their ability to drive margins. So they did do some part of it this quarter, and we believe they will keep doing that over the next. So we remain outperform on Jubilant because we think it's a structural winner in a space where they have two advantages which no other QSR firm has. Right? One is their ability to do their own delivery, which reduces the cost burden for them, and their ability to have back-end commissaries, which reduces the COGS burden for them. So they remain the structural winner. The rest of the pack really depends on the customer demand scenario coming back.
Right. Okay. Makes sense, Jignanshu. Great to have you on ET Now today.